So don't be fooled by the gun I got. This is Jared Lorenzen on the comeback trail. Go! Told him 5 yards, he's going 8. Left! No, post route!
Come on!
Yeah!
Get it! Go get it! Come on!
Yeah!
Come on!
Yeah!
Come on! Come on! Let's go!
Go! Best shape of my life, baby.
Come on, J-Lo! Come on! Come on! Come on, Yummy!
J-Lo's back, baby. The box score starts now.
I don't know a lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer.
My motto is simple. C's get degrees.
Need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you, because I probably am.
Power College for box score.
Howdy ho, and welcome to the Box Score. I'm DJ filling in for Brock, who's on a much-needed vacation after working one day. He's a real hero. They are the Danettes in Milford. Today, the boss made the comparison between being a smoker and an NFL player. You know it's gonna mess you up, but screw it, you're gonna do it anyway. Seton, we're heading to you on this one. As a former smoker, accurate comparison?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I spent a lot of time while I was puffing on many of those things, thinking, well, this probably isn't the best thing I should do, but eventually I'll get around to quitting, which I did, by the way. So, yeah, I mean, I wish that I was getting paid to do it, and then it would have been a much more difficult thing. Instead, I was just destroying my body for the fun of it.
But let me jump in here,
taste.
because if I remember right, if it wasn't for smoking, you may have not met your current wife, because on New Year's Eve, if my notes are
100% right,
you went out for a smoke break. She wanted to get a smoke. You guys had a couple smoke breaks together, had a good conversations private, and next thing you know, you're dating. Is that correct?
That's 100% accurate. Yeah, we're standing in this kitchen and talking, and there's one dude was sort of like blocking me, you know, and he was
was he C-blocking?
in a big way, and he was really obnoxious, and it was getting under my skin because I was like, dang, man, I really want to talk to this girl. So I got a little frustrated. I was just like, all right, screw it, I'll go outside for a cigarette. She was like, oh, are you going to smoke? And we were the only two people really that smoked in the party. And yeah, we've been really together ever since.
So you owe your relationship to nicotine?
I do, yeah.
Oh, that's so cute. Well, former Bears linebacker Brian Urlacher dialed in today and talked about getting his bell rung on the field.
For me, I saw these little black dots everywhere I looked. There were these little black dots, it was the sky. So there was a couple times I had some of those, but you know, I didn't have any memory loss. I didn't have any concussion symptoms. You know, I knew right away that I had to go to the sideline and talk to those guys. Or they most of the times, Tim Bream, our trainer, would see it and he'd be like, "What'd you do? Come here, talk to me." Any little thing that happened, so he knew right away when something was going on with me.
Did you ever shake off the trainer?
I tried to dodge him every time I could, because in my opinion, when I played, if I couldn't make it worse, I wanted to be on the football field. That was my take on it. You know, I'd always ask our trainers, pull muscles, those are a different story, you know, because it's hard to move. But if there's something injured on me, and I said, can I make it worse? If they said no, I would keep playing. If they said yes, I would stop playing.
It's amazing the consistency we have of guys who describe Polamalu saying he gets 50 to 100 dings a year or something, like Urlacher seeing black dots. Seeing black dots is not normal, but to him, it's like nothing. And, you know, like, it's kind of like a casual, banal approach to, like, a health crisis.
Or even the stingers with, like, numbness of any normal person. And I know, obviously, it's football, but if you had, like, numbness in your extremities, you would...
Yeah, like, stinger just goes down your arm. That's not much
just
of a big
waiting for it to go away, like that's a normal thing.
I do love the difference between football players and average humans. If I had broke my finger, I'd be like, ah, man, this really hurts. I'd run to a doctor, or I'd tape it up. They go to the sidelines and try to talk someone out of taking them into the game.
Put
something on it so I can ignore it.
To these other ones, and then I can at least just use my hand like this.
If you, like, break your wrist, you, like, avoid the trainer on the sideline, like, hide behind the punter. They're out of their mind.
If you looked at Richard Sherman, when he did his elbow like that, he stays on the sideline. He's sitting there like this, like 10 minutes, and the trainer's getting it over. He's like, I'm not coming out, so there's nothing we can do here.
Yeah, that was a bit of a drama.
Yeah, Fritzy got a splinter the
day.
day before Super Bowl week, and I thought he was calling out sick on Monday. So
I did. I was expecting some kind of truck to pull up and throw me in the back of the emergency vehicle. I'm like, it's bleeding a little bit. There's like a little black dot coming out of my finger.
What do you expect? Our boss called 911 because his dishwasher broke. Yeah, it's closed.
It's like the softest thing I've ever heard.
I know. As a group, whatever all that toughness, it's amazing we talked to these guys because we were the exact opposite.
And I needed an IV that day.
All right, well, back to the topic here. Paulie, as a Bears fan, do you want to see Urlacher's number retired?
I don't really like retiring numbers at all. I think I like the Cowboys do Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Where they put your name and your number up in a Ring of Honor and they honor you, but people can still use the numbers. I don't like saying, like, Jackie Robinson's number being retired by baseball, that's cool. That's a movement. That's something historical. Dan Hampton's number being retired, or Brian Urlacher, they're very, very good players, but they're not, franchise-changing players. If you want to retire, George Halas owned the team. If Halas played there, you want to do his jersey or something like that, that's fine.
Well, what about 34? I mean,
I would say even with Walter Payton, I would say that
I can't see anyone ever wearing that.
How can you?
Remember, history is a long time.
Yeah.
We're 100 years into professional football. Assuming that the world doesn't end in the next 1,000 years,
there could always
how
be
many jerseys are you going to retire?
Yeah.
Like Andy Pettit is an above average pitcher for the Yankees.
That seems a little too much.
Right,
40,
but if you keep retiring numbers every year, eventually you're going to get to the point where you have to wash them all off and just make those numbers available.
But I think if you think of a certain team and you immediately think of a certain player or two,
let's say,
like Elway 7 or Peyton 34, that I'm fine with that.
So
if you instantly think of that
every
person.
10 years the Bears retire a number. In 1,000 years, they'll have no numbers.
Yeah, but wait.
They'll have to have three digits.
Slow down.
1,000 years.
Walter Payton.
119.
But you got to plan ahead.
When did Walter Payton last play? I mean, 1989.
You can do fractions.
87. That was 30 years ago, and there's been nobody even close to that. So it's only every 40 years. Number 6 for the 76ers, Julius Erving. What kind of crazy person would try and get that number? Basketball's easier because they're less number. I think they should retire 6 and 23 from the sport of basketball because I think anyone who puts
Dr. J.
Wow.
To me,
Dr. J.
6 was an iconic number growing up. It's like
in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I thought nationally, it was a big deal. I mean, to me, that's of course it's a Philadelphia bias. 42, 23 in basketball. I think it's lame.
Well, 23, you just know, when you were playing as a kid, that whoever on the other team was wearing 23, that's the best player.
But do you retire 32 and 33 from all teams because of Magic and Bird as far as what someone did for one team versus how do you decide this is a national number as opposed to just
I guess only Jordan. I think he's the only one. That's the one number where it's almost. I guess it's not fair to compare.
But then you could say Bill Walton, or not Bill Walton, but Will Chamberlain was way better than Michael Jordan as far as his stats. And is it his fault that nobody was tall at the time? I don't know. So
I don't know if we learned anything, but that's fine. All right, stick around. Next, we're going to talk NFL draft cliches. All right, the box score is powered by Ram trucks. Every truck can tow a boat, every truck can climb a hill, and every truck can haul a trailer. But not everybody can say they're the fastest growing truck brand in all of America. Get more facts at ramtrucks.com. Guts, glory, Ram.
Where's Broccoli Jr. today?
He worked one day in a row, so he's taken 7 days off.
Testing.
Oh, is it an All-Star game today? Was the All-Star game?
All-Star game.
Hey, Chris, you sent us that email about trying to spice it up a little bit on this end because DJ's hosting. What did that mean?
Okay, confirmed actually. Paulie, a real son of a...
Boring. Something about how boring he is.
Also, what was I thinking about not using multi-syllabic words that are too big?
They said dumb it down because DJ's hosting. What does dumb it down mean?
And said, go be really long-winded so there's less time of him on camera.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Really long-winded, really interesting. You guys got it.
You're here.
Oh, hi. Hey, welcome back to the box score. Earlier, Paulie was reading off comparisons between this year's NFL draft class and their soon-to-be NFL colleagues. So we plugged the Danettes into the box score NFL player comparison supercomputer 7000 and got back these quarterback matches. First up, McLevin, who do you think the supercomputer matched you up with?
Are these current quarterbacks? Because I've been compared a lot to former Raider quarterback.
Yeah, we're going current
tall,
here.
Skinny.
Current-ish.
Current,
if you will.
Current-ish. Colts backup Curtis Painter. I had a lot of him.
I would go Joe Flacco for some reason.
Yeah.
You're a Joe Flacco type.
I'm going to borrow from Seton. Joe Flacco feels right.
Well, actually, the match was Greg McElroy. Super smart, super horrible at throwing a football, so I guess it makes sense. All right.
That is really mean because he's a friend of the show, but whatever.
And he's playing a lot of football, just like you. Seton's up next. Which quarterback match are you?
Tom Brady, clearly.
They're definitely going Johnny Football here, Seton.
Yeah, McLovin is actually 100% correct. He must be the supercomputer because the supercomputer came back with a positive match on Johnny Manziel. But just as an editorial note, dude, Seton, I've been with you at the bar, and Manziel has a lot of catching up to do. Fritzy,
yeah,
buddy.
Well, he'll get there. He's young.
Yeah, oh yeah, you know, I mean, he's just training. Fritzy, you're next.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go the bulky and slow, but occasionally elusive Ben Roethlisberger.
Oh, that's a great guess, but actually the supercomputer went back in time and went with Jared Lorenzen, the hefty lefty.
Yeah,
the computer also confirmed that
coming.
Lorenzen has phone conversations with people on bad phone lines all the time too, so you're practically twins.
Look at that.
All right, and finally, Paulie, after careful analysis, who did the supercomputer match you up with?
If you don't have one, I have a guess.
All right, I'll do my guess and everyone else if you guys want to guess.
Right.
I'm going to guess maybe Chase Daniel, backup for the is he the Rams or Kansas City Chiefs?
Yeah.
You know, I think I want to be Chase Daniel more so. He doesn't have to play a lot. He gets paid pretty well. He's surrounded by barbecue. That's kind of the guy I would like to be.
I would say based on Paulie's inability to throw, Tim Tebow.
Oh, Timothy Tebow.
Ooh, very solid. But actually, you are matched up with Terrell Pryor, which makes sense. If you guys were in a band together, it would probably be named Improper Benefits. I mean, the guy drove 8 different cars when he was at Ohio State. I'm shocked you haven't had one of DP's Dodge Rams shipped to your house yet. So
I could teach Terrell Pryor a thing or two. You got emails. What are you doing, man?
Yeah.
You're better than that.
all right.
So great.
Well, don't go away. It's this week's edition of Know Thy Row. All right, we're back here on the box score. Today's a pretty crappy day for a lot of people. I mean, back to work after a drunken 3-day weekend. George Washington would have wanted it that way, though, so. And while I'm sure some people took awesome vacations, we've asked the Danettes which vacation experience was not, you know, awesome. So you know what time it is. It's time for...
Know Your Row!
Bad vacation.
For those keeping score at home, which I'm sure you all are, the back row is throwing up goose eggs all year. They're winless for all of 2015, so we're going to start with them first. Fritzy, what was McLovin's worst vacation experience?
In the past year or ever?
Ever.
How many vacations have we had in the past year?
Like it matters, Fritzy.
I'm going to say he had a very bad Memorial Day weekend, and I have no idea why, but I'm going to go that he had a...
Any location involved or just...
He's
good.
One time he went to Wally World and it was closed when he got there.
I think the Perla family initially had plans, but the weather was bad, and it was just a very hot, sweaty weekend.
What are you basing this upon?
It's just a total wild guess.
I love it. I love it. Just keep going down this road.
Well, bad Memorial Day, and there was, I think there was some food poisoning involved from the barbecue.
Oh, wow.
And it was just a very hot, sweaty, a lot of trips to the bathroom, that kind of thing.
Your vacation.
All right, well, let's see if it's the Memorial Day to forget. See what I did there?
The worst vacation experience I ever had, probably going to Disneyland with my parents when I was like in high school. I'm way too old for this. The lines were horrible. Yeah, that was weird. Actually, I didn't even remember that, but I was on Space Mountain, and my little brother was in the thing, and it was like he wasn't strapped in right, and he almost fell out of the machine and almost died.
That's not good.
Yeah, but he didn't die, so it's a happy moment.
That's kind of scary.
Half glass full there. And just to be clear, there was no food poisoning.
Vacation.
Sorry, Fritzy. All right.
Yeah.
Front row.
And I would lie and say that was on Memorial Day, but no.
Front row,
That's why
you're
we're
up.
last place.
Seton, what was Paulie's worst vacation experience?
Well, it's pretty well traveled. It's been over to Italy, Germany, Maybe there's some type of
something in
beer
Portugal
that disagreed with him, and some brewhouse
in Luxembourg.
I
don't even know the answer.
I'm gonna say Paul once went to Florida with his family and got really sunburned.
Oh.
Ooh. All right, let's see if it's Paulie becoming a lobster in Florida.
That happened to me.
On the way to Hawaii, honeymoon, just got past LA a couple hours. We're on our way a couple hours until we get to Hawaii. Pilot gets on and says there's trouble with one of the engines, which is the last thing you want to hear when you're over an ocean. He goes, we're past the line where you have to either go or don't go. And we kept on going to Hawaii. So for the next 2 hours as we're going to Hawaii, people were pretty tense. Pretty tense.
Yeah, that was a wild one.
You told us that one before.
I always wonder why the pilot told us that there was a problem with the engine and didn't just keep going, because there's nothing he could do and there's almost nothing we can do.
And for 2 hours, this has to be on your mind of what the heck's
Yes, you're sitting there going to Hawaii, and I got married maybe 36 hours
earlier. You're in a happy,
earlier.
jubilant, fun mood. Get rid of
But the good news was he didn't have to turn around. He said, if we would have heard about this 20 minutes ago, we would have had to turn around, go back to LA, get a new plane, and go out. He goes, we would have been delayed a good 6 hours.
No, but it's even worse, as though he didn't have, he couldn't at that point.
I'd much rather plunge into the ocean and be delayed 6 hours if I had my choice. Much rather. You bet on those delays.
No, it's the worst. You're just sitting on the plane.
The ocean,
you just want to get up.
20 seconds.
Man.
Give my wife a kiss, it's over.
Yeah, I'd rather just roll the dice there. I agree. All right, back row, your turn again. McLevin, do you know Fritzy's worst vacation experience?
It wasn't Arbor Day, off of my Memorial Day weekend.
Well, since Fritzy is very self-centered, he probably, when he said Memorial Day, he was probably thinking of some specific Memorial Day issue he had.
That the barbecue disagreed with him.
Barbecue disagreed
and he spent a sweaty bathroom-filled Memorial Day.
Or just a day.
I am going to, since we all agree that everybody's worst vacation experiences involve Florida, I'm going to say something going to Florida. And I know that's general, but we need the point.
Is he going to get credit
Florida.
for that? A vacation in Florida?
Keeping it general,
Florida.
I like that. Was it Florida?
Worst vacation experience was with my family. I was in Washington, D.C., and it was pouring torrential rain. We were stuck in traffic. It was just an absolute nightmare. And then we went to McDonald's for breakfast, and we came back. All the windows of our car were shattered, and all of our belongings were strewn all over the place. So basically, someone broke into our car amidst just torrential, ridiculous storms of rain. It was not a good trip to D.C. with the family.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. And my dad's a police officer, so he felt extra offended that someone would, not that they would know he's a cop. But we went in, grabbed a quick bite to eat. We weren't gone long. We come back, all the windows shattered, glass everywhere, and whatever was in the car was gone. Bags, luggage, they took everything, and it was just in the pouring rain. And there's nothing he can do. He's got the gun with the holster.
How do you drive the car in the rain with the windows shattered?
Yeah,
that was the problem. It was just total. It was a total disaster.
What did you do to relieve that situation?
I just zipped up my sweatshirt a little more, closer to my.
How old were you at the time? Was your dad actually packing heat on this?
Oh yeah, he often had a gun on him, but we went in. A lot of times he would hide it because he didn't want the kids to see it. But we were aware that I don't know if he was off duty, but back then or whatever it was, he had it on him, and it was just very, very upsetting to.
Dude, that's a lot worse than bad barbecue on a Memorial Day.
That is a little worse than a bad barbecue
Although, if you've ever had bad barbecue before, it's not much worse.
That's worse than having windows broken.
Could spend several days.
Yeah,
in the
but either way, Fritzy ended up in the bathroom after for hours on end. All right, last one is for the front row.
Ends up there.
Paulie, what is Seaton's worst vacation experience?
Well, I have some ideas here. Now, Seaton hates all holidays because he has to go see both his families in the Boston region and the New Jersey region. And all he does is come back and say, effing traffic, this and this. And I do remember a 4th of July where he said something about spending like 20 hours in traffic and 2 hours with his family. I know that's not the best story in the world, but that's the only one I remember.
All right, well, let's see if Paulie's got it.
Growing up, my family had a house in Chester, Vermont, and I lived in South Amboy, New Jersey, and I spent a lot of time driving up and down the New York State Thruway. And as a kid, I seemed to always have some type of intestinal issues that would happen right as we passed the nearest bathroom. So my dad would have to pull over, and I basically went to the bathroom, sick kind, almost all over every square inch of the New York State Thruway. So I don't know if that counts as a bad experience, but that was my childhood.
This true. It's
very relatable.
And sometimes, I'm like a kid, and I'm like, oh, Dad, I gotta go. And he's like, all right, pull over. Let me pull over. And I'm like, I can't, there's a bee there. I can't, there's a bee. And me crying. And I'm like, oh, I gotta go, but there's a bee. He's like, move then.
Now, are you pants around the ankles on the?
Oh yeah.
What, are you on the shoulder? Are you up in the woods? Little peachy buns.
I'm not gonna.
You didn't always have time to really make it very far from the car.
Man, you and Fritzy have a lot of time.
Yeah.
Very relatable.
Somewhere just outside Coxsackie. Taking a dump on the side of the road. Little kid.
Ducking a bee.
I can't do that. I gotta go real bad. It's coming.
How'd you wipe?
My mom always kept a lot of napkins in the car.
Yeah, napkins.
Wow. As always, nobody wins when we play Know Your Row. Coming up, Russell Westbrook is a clean-shaven dude. Dad, I can't, there's a bee! This is a box score, and we are taking a break to remind you that the Ram Heavy Duty with the best in-class towing, torque, and horsepower doesn't need one. Guts, glory, Ram.
Could you grow a beard like Harden?
No way. I mean, I've been growing my facial hair since about 26 years. This is what I got.
That's it, huh?
That's it. Never had to shave one day of my life.
Oh, good for you.
Hey, we're closing up shop here at the Box Score Bar, and I've got a confession. Just like Paulie, I'm not a real bartender. I'm just make-believe. All-Star MVP Russell Westbrook admitted today he never had to shave a day in his life. Paulie, you want to call shenanigans or what?
Well, he was pretty demonstrative about it. Like he said, 26 years, I've never shaved one day in my life. I don't think he's making it up. I have a couple friends that when I was in college with them, they had never shaved. I was like, that's pretty nuts. But someone's got to be that. I wouldn't guess Russell. He's like a big, strong dude.
Yeah. Fritzy, solid job booking the Thunder guard. And when you went into the box today, you did an even better job of getting more airtime for your son, Jordan.
He put together this cool picture of Russell Westbrook with different colors and him jumping with the basketball. Was pretty awesome. And I don't know if we found a career for him. He's only 12, so he doesn't have to worry about graphic design just yet. But I thought it was really impressive, and I shared it with the rest of the guys and our Los Angeles friends and producers and editors, the people that put the show together, and they were impressed by it. And they promised me it'd be up on the screen, so hopefully you're seeing it right now or will be seeing it or just saw it. And I know my son, who doesn't have school today, is probably jumping up and down like crazy with excitement and enthusiasm that he has contributed to the program. And Jordan didn't draw that or anything.
Well, Molly Paps certainly
he just puts together
put that to shame already.
Well, Jordan, if Jordan didn't draw that, we can take a look back at his talents from years past. They have improved either way. Fritzy, go ahead and tell us what's going on over here. This is amazing.
Oh, no, I cannot believe I drudged that out.
Can you read that?
I can't read what it says, but I know based on the picture, I'm very comfortable with flatulence, I guess, around the house.
I love it when
you call me... I call him Buttercake. I have all kinds of nicknames for him.
You make very stinky farts.
Yeah, I have all kinds of strange nicknames for Jordan, but that would those little black semicircles, I guess, would be the gas.
Sort of a pig pen-like quality from your.
Exactly.
You made your arms disproportionately small in that picture.
Not the greatest drawer, though, but he got the point across how I'm very free with passing gas around the house.
Wasn't the worst drawing I've ever seen. No. Fairly accurate.
But
when you pass gas around the house, is it just like you and your son, or is it everybody?
No, it's fair game for anyone. If we have guests over or something with my in-laws.
No, yeah.
Right. When it's just the primary four, is there any sensor on it?
No, as a matter of fact, sometimes I try to, squeeze something out that's not really there because I just find it really funny. And sometimes when you do those silent but deadly ones, that is quiet, and I know they're going to be getting hit with it any second, and I'm just trying to hold it in, and then all of a sudden, it's hysterical.
These are your middle school friends. This is your family.
This is my wife, my son, and my daughter, and I'm just waiting, and I go, and I'm shocked they haven't gotten it yet. And then there's the like,
do you think that this greases the wheels for things with your wife when she has
this? Unfortunately, it does not set the scene for any type of romantic mood.
Little Dutch oven action with the missus really gets her going.
Yeah, but there's nothing to me more entertaining than just kind of waiting for it to slowly make its way to the nostrils. I'm just so I'm seeing the reaction to tears, and they get
my Lord, Todd.
Can anybody take this show out of the toilet? This is ridiculous.
This is the best out.
Yeah, let's take it out of the toilet and let's just get to break here. All right, Fritzy, who's on tomorrow?
Yeah. There's no fair segue to mention Adam Sandler and Rich Eisen's names within seconds after that story. But Adam
also
Sandler,
great farters, those guys. Those are world class.
I wasn't aware of that. I knew that about Sandman. I didn't know
the Gas Man.
So Adam Sandler and Rich Eisen will be among the guests for Wednesday.
He's got a movie coming out called Gas Man.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for watching The Box Score. Catch us every day at 3 p.m. Eastern on Audience Channel 239 right here on DirecTV. Don't forget to catch us on Podcast One and iTunes. Cheers, Grandma.
I don't know a lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer.
My motto is simple. C's get degrees.
Need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you, because I probably am.
Hey, thanks for watching The Box Score. Holy